The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Christ. Apprehending God in all things, for God is in all things. Every single creature is filled with God and is a book about God. Amen. "2003. 2003. That's the year where a really good friend of mine from seminary who grew up in the Northeast moved down to Chattanooga to take a job. Yeah, it was a culture clash, right? So he hadn't been there long, and when we decided that there was when I say there's a diocesan meeting, do you know what I mean? Do you know what the diocese is? How many people know what the diocese is? No, you don't. So the diocese is a geographical area of different Episcopal churches, for those of you who told me the truth. So we were going to this diocesan meeting, and we took separate cars, but he was going to follow me. It was in Johnson City. So we drove toward Johnson City, and I had to get some gas. So we both pulled off, and after I filled up, we went inside and got some snacks. So he got finished with his snacks, getting his snacks sooner than me, and he went up to the cashier. And she was ringing it up, and then she said this. She said, "Did you get any oil with that?" And he goes, "Excuse me?" And she said it again, "Get any oil with that?" And he goes, "What?" So she said it one more time. "Did you get any oil with that?" Now, how many of you know what she said? Wait, don't say it yet. Don't say it yet. Just hold on to that. How many of you don't know what she said? What's that feel like? What's that feel like when you're standing there and it's going back and forth and back and forth, and no matter how the person, in this instance, she says it, you can't hear it? What's that feel like? As I was watching my friend, because after she said it for the third time, his "excuse me" and "what" turned into other things. Right? And that's what happens when we don't communicate. Because it turned into frustration and misunderstanding. And then eventually it was moving toward judgment. Right? When we can't communicate, life is difficult. How can we speak to one another so as to be heard? And how can we truly listen to one another? And how we do that is vital to life. How do we speak so that we can be heard? And how do we listen to each other so that we can connect? And when we don't do that, relationships break. Because after the frustration and the judgment, the relationships just fracture. And it deeply, deeply, deeply interferes with how we go about living our lives. Communication is central to living. Right? When we are heard and understood, what is it like when you're heard and understood? When I'm heard and understood, I feel good. Life feels good. Relationships feel good, and I can move forward into life. And that's at least a big piece of what's going on in the story that we heard from Acts. Which, by the way, Rick, you read that really well, man. That was really great. So that's what's going on in that story from Acts. Those who are touched by the Spirit are able to translate how God is at work in the world, in, through, and as life. Right? So they're able to translate that to people who are different from them, and the people can hear them. So they tell their stories in a way that others can hear and understand, and it connects them. And it connects them as people. Even though they're different, even though they initially spoke a different language, like somebody from the Northeast and somebody from East Tennessee. Right? Because the truth of the matter is, we can do what the disciples did. We can do that. We have the same Spirit, you and I. The Spirit that they had, you have, I have. And because we have that same Spirit, we have that capacity to truly listen to each other and to truly speak in such a way so that others can hear us. We can do that. It takes practice, though. So we'll practice right here and now. Go back to the story. You're in that gas station with my friend and the cashier. What would you say to my friend that she's trying to tell him? Yes. Well, say it loud. Oh, yeah. She said, did you get any oil with that? Did you get any oil with that? Which means what? Did you buy gas? Did you buy gas? So if you were there and you said that to my friend, he would go, yes, now I understand. Right? And then we could leave. And that's the way communication works. So all of a sudden, he's not seeing the other person as somehow or another frustrating or not speaking well. Now that he understands, he can see her just as somebody asking a question. Communication, speaking the same language. It's everything. Amen.